Now, I love coaches that are aggressive. And I always say, you've heard me say it a million times, if I'm going down, I am going down swinging. But at what point does aggression become reckless or just downright the wrong decision? I mean, Dan Lanning's decision-making in critical games during his past and last weekend against Washington should be called into question after he refused to kick multiple field goals and for the second straight year against Washington decided to go for a risky fourth down late in the game that played an integral part in deciding the game's outcome. Now, the Ducks left multiple scoring opportunities on the board in a game they ultimately lost by just a field goal. So at what point do you stop just blindly rolling the dice and just take the damn points, man? You don't have to just be one type of coach. That's a common misconception. You can take risks sometimes and play it safe other times. It's not always just one or the other. It's about picking your spots. It's just like blackjack. You have to know when to stay. It seems the only hole in the armor that Dan Lanning has is his unwillingness to not force the action. And in these big games, you can't always make the aggressive play. Now, hindsight is 20/20, and it's easy to sit back and question one decision. But this has become a pattern with Dan Lanning. Now, some of you will say, I'd rather have a coach that's aggressive, and you'd be right. But aggression isn't just deciding to take the most drastic or risky option every time. It's about knowing when to press the gas just enough, cautious aggressiveness. Now, this doesn't mean that Dan is a bad coach or that Oregon fans should panic. In fact, they should do the opposite. The man can flat out do it with the headset on. But there will be growing pains as he ventures to the top. And maybe, just maybe, enough of these sour outcomes may sweeten him up to take the points or at least write something else on his card that right now only reads, screw it, man, just go for it. David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, my brother, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver Blaine Crane. Guys, listen, I like screaming America sometimes. But every single time, it seems like every single time with Dan Lanning. Great example, right before half, 6 seconds to go. There's another half to play. Like, this isn't do or die. Oh, you're down 4, you got to go for it. Like, at some points, man, or at some point, just take the field goal. Even if it's once out of every 3 times, mix it up a little bit. I mean,
it started long before that. He went for a 2-point conversion on the very first touchdown that he got of the game.
Yeah, that's true.
It started from the jump with him. And look, I get it. I respect it in a lot of ways, but at some point, we only criticize these decisions sometimes when it doesn't work out, right? Like, sometimes you have to look at something and say that's objectively the wrong call, right? Mm-hmm. Like, no matter if it works or not, because if he gets the touchdown on 4th and 3 before half, and if he gets the first down on 4th and 3 in the second half, and they get all the 2-point conversions, then everybody's saying, oh, this guy's a genius and it worked, and you have to take those sorts of risks in a rivalry game. Whereas I was looking at it, I'm thinking, this is the wrong call even if it does work out.
Yeah.
Punt at the end of the game, like punt the football away, rivalry game, a lot of emotions, take those points. But, it's going to balance out. Later in the season, he's going to do this again, and he's going to get some of them, and he's going to come off and he's going to look like a genius. I still think everything Oregon wants is right out there in front of them. They're a very good football team. He's trying to motivate his team and give them a shot in a close game on the road, but at some point, you got to just take points.
Yeah, and again, Blaine, like, I like, if you want to be aggressive 60% of the time, be aggressive 60% of the time.
Yeah.
But 100% of the time, it's like Dan Lanning is taking the most drastic option, and it will hit some and it won't hit others, but there's some nuance to it, right? There's feel. That's how the game is evolving, who you're playing. Like the last drive where he went for it on 4th and 3. If that's 4th and half a yard, okay, I understand it. I'll never question the Philadelphia Eagles lining up and going for it on 4th down and a yard and a half or less. That's the only team in the world. But 4th and 3, and if you turn it over, Michael Penix them is one throw away from taking the lead. Why not make them drive the whole field instead of just giving them the breakaway layup?
I don't mind the decision at the end of the game. You're trying to win the game. One play. I don't think Dan thought this defense was going to be able to stop Michael Penix with 1:20 left. I really don't think so. And I'm fine with that. You're trying to win the game, but you can only put your hand in the cookie jar so many times. The one I didn't like was the one before halftime. You drove down the field. You got to get 3 there. It's such a big momentum shift to get points going into halftime to either you going for it and not getting points, and now Washington's up. Now they're even more ready to go. I'll never fault a guy at the end of the game trying to go win the game. Did I like the play call? No. You ran multiple sprint outs on big downs. Washington knew it was coming. But, Dan, you have to have the feel. You have to be able to read the room. And even the analytics. Like, the analytics was on his side at the end of the game. The analytics was not on his side at that play call at the end of the first half.
Mm-hmm.
So, I get being aggressive. It's fine. But you have to have controlled aggression. You have to know when to hold them, when to fold them, when to run, and when to walk away.
Yeah, and here's my problem with the play at the end of the game going forward on the 4th and 3. Your defense just stuffed them inside the 10-yard line to get a turnover. On stuffed them. So you're up 3. You punt that back. Yeah, they may hit a couple one-on-one shots to Udunze or Polk or McMillan, but when you turn the ball over right there, you are allowing them the opportunity to score in one play. Not only score, but score a touchdown that then gives them the lead. Or excuse me, Oregon was up what? 4?
Yeah.
Oregon's up 4. So now you punt it, you put them inside the 20, you make them drive the length of the field with not all their timeouts, with not a lot of time in predictable passing situations, and you make them go 7 to 9 plays to score, in my opinion. I feel like you gave them an easy out with that 4-point lead. I just feel like circumstantially, right after you stuffed them, I don't think that was the greatest decision. Now, if it would have worked, I guess you could say hindsight's 20/20. But here's my question. We always talk about analytics, all right? I'm not a mathematician. I'm not going to pretend to be. But somebody explained to me how sometimes these analytical decisions, like I need to see the work shown. Mm-hmm. Because, like, for example, it says if you're down 14 and you score, to go for 2 after the first time you score. I don't, like, y'all keep saying the analytics say to do this. I feel like people are just saying that.
It's like Mike Tyson, spinal.
Yeah.
Just broke my back.
I'm not in the mood to fight robots right now.
Yeah, but again, like, how in my mind, I understand you're saying, oh, well, if it works, that's great. Now you score a touchdown to kick the extra point to win. But, like, I'm trying to get back to where we're at least tied.
That if he didn't get that he would get the ball back with some time. I mean, you got the ball back with the timeout and 1 minute and 15 seconds left with Bo Nix-led offense. I mean, he knew, even if Washington scored, that he would have a chance with his offense, and he did. And, I mean, I was a guy who's going to think, at the end of the day, whoever has the ball in the offense last is probably going to go get a drive and win the game. So, like, I can't fault Dan. I'll never fault the guy for trying to go win the game with one play at the end when he doesn't think they're going to stop Washington.
So if it was 4th and 9, would you have gone for it?
No, obviously not. It's 4th and 2.
Well, what's the difference?
What's the difference? 7 yards.
If you think they're going to score and you can't stop them, it doesn't matter if it's 4th and 9 or 4th and 3.
But still, odds, I mean, percentage-wise, you're not going to go for it on 4th and 9. I mean, how many 4th and 9 plays do you have in that card?
Well,
not a lot. There's a bunch of 4th and 2s.
It's almost Halloween, all right? Every Halloween, you hear about dangers in the candy your kids will get. But this year, the real tricks are in the meat aisle. Yeah, guess what? M. Night Shyamalan, you didn't think that was coming, did you? Good Ranchers wants to take the trick out of your meat, and they're throwing in a treat. Yeah, that rhymed. For our listeners, for $30 off your order with promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER. I'm telling you guys right now, it's tailgate season. It's grilling season. Y'all have steak, chicken, pork. They got seafood now. They've got everything. And it's 100% American source. It's not grown in some lab. There's nobody with a mask and a scientist's apron on, whatever you call that, sitting there putting together crazy different combinations. This is the #1 place in America to get the best pork, beef, chicken, and seafood delivered. That's with Good Ranchers. So take the mystery out of the meat aisle. Visit goodranchers.com and use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, to get $30 off with free express shipping on your box of America's best meat and seafood today. That's code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, for $30 off your box today at goodranchers.com. American meat delivered. We grill out all the time. But what I'm saying is, like, the premise is that they're going to score regardless. So if you don't get it, you don't get it. Well, what does the distance matter?
If you think they're going to score, but obviously 4th and 2, okay? I mean, you have to go for that. If you think they're going to score 4th and 9, you can't. There's no way you can. At that point, you just lay it on the defense. We'll see what happens. But 4th and 2, you have the chance. You have the opportunity. Percentage and numbers are on your side. You go for that to go win the game.
I want to see
on the road.
At the end with the punt?
Yes.
I don't know how the mindset could be, well, Washington's definitely going to score. I mean, like Jake said, they just stuffed them inside
At the
the
1.
3-yard line. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, hell, they got all the way down there.
I mean, they had
you stuff them one
how
time
many
on the
points
goal
did they
line, and
score?
obviously, I mean, you
held
don't think
them-
they're going to score?
You held them under 30 points. If you go pin them inside the 10 with a couple minutes left, you don't think your defense, like this Oregon defense I've been hearing about all season, is going to show up?
Well, another thing too is you had a.
Have you seen Michael Penix with a minute left in all the games he's played?
Yeah, I mean, he's really good. I have him in my college football playoff. I'm just saying, you don't punt the football away. You're
Well,
up.
I think too, a big part
is
is it's a 4-point lead, not a 3-point lead. So they have to literally go score a touchdown. They cannot kick a field goal to tie. You go for that right there. You give them the ball at midfield. They can score a touchdown in one play, or if they get one first down, now they can tie it up with a field goal if you're only up 3, but you're up 4. Like I don't get why you don't make them go the length of the field with that amount of time, even knowing that you could get the ball up with 1:15. But see, that all goes in the calculation. Dan Lanning knows his team better than any of us. But like my whole point is that you can't be all one way or the other way. Like there's got to be some. You know what? Hey, this 4th and 3, we're gonna go for it. But you know what? Before half, we're going to take the points. I want to get some momentum going in the locker room. I just feel like he's too one way. You know what I'm saying? Like it's too, like again, it's like I'm going to cook the same meal every night for dinner. Like sometimes you gotta order a pizza.
I just think y'all believe in Oregon's defense more than Dan Lanning.
Now, I think maybe Dan Lanning legitimately thought. I was shocked actually that it wasn't some sort of RPO with Bo Nix. I thought they might run it. I thought Oregon actually might run the ball on 4th and 3 because they ran through.
Been upset
if you look, and we'll get to it right or wrong, Oregon, and you made this point yesterday, they outgained them in passing yards. They outgained them in rushing yards. They won the turnover battle. They won the penalty battle. Oregon outplayed Washington and lost. And I feel like one of the reasons they lost is because of Dan Lanning's decision making. I feel like that was an integral part of one of the reasons they lost. But we want to know what you think. Hey, everybody, thanks for stopping by. If you get a chance, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you turn on that notification bell, it'll let you know whenever we're making any predictions or dropping any content. So follow along with us.